Conscious Collaboration brings together entrepreneurs, change makers, and thought leaders. We aim to highlight the people that embody the idea of aligned mind, body, and business. Each week, we share, discuss, and learn from the various experiences and ideas of our guest experts. Through our discovery, we find a path to an aligned mind, body, and business.
What up, guys? I'm Emily.
And I'm Lisa. And we are the Conscious Collaboration. How you doing, Emily?
I'm great. How you doing?
Good. I've just been reminiscing about all our really great episodes lately and all the cool people and the wizards we've had around us.
Reminiscing, huh? Yeah. I'm going to Harry Potter World this weekend. So maybe we'll find some of our wizard friends that we haven't yet met.
Every day is like Harry Potter World.
Every day. It's like a little Hogwarts up in here. Mm-hmm.
All right. So to that point today, I thought it might be fun for us to do an energy check-in for the collective and divine from the ancient I Ching, which, as you know, Emily, we do at the beginning of every one of our episode preps with our guests. What do you think about that, by the way? Because I know I kind of like inflicted that on you, but
no, I think it's awesome. I was willing to be inflicted upon. And of course, I already know this, but I think it's cool and hilarious how every guest that we have on afterwards, because they then, of course, participate in the sort of pre-reading, and they're all amazed at how accurate and how like relevant to whatever the topic is. The reading comes up as. So that's always pretty amusing to kind of see people's first reaction to their experience of the I Ching.
I love that they're all so accepting and they just kind of go with us on it. But I think really what's cool is a lot of our gold nuggets in our conversations have been brought together in doing that work. So like the I Ching, as listeners may or may not be aware, it's an ancient book at the root and foundation of Feng Shui. And it's an environmental study of the elements and the traits and the natures of each of the 5 earthly elements and how they interact with nature around, and then drawing upon that and inferring the relationship of humans with their environments, threats, and opportunities. And when we're divining of the I Ching, which is something that a lot of practitioners do, and a lot of in the mental health world, Carl Jung is one that's known to be using the I Ching, and I imagine other modern day practitioners. It's a way to release the ego from assessing a situation, and it gives you a higher up lens, an overall arching view. And it brings about that randomness. So when we're tossing coins, or like we're doing today, and like I use cards in the podcast, when we bring about that randomness and how so we're looking for the energies, and in this case, a card to present itself for us to read into. It's not something that I control or manipulate. It's just total random, but it always speaks exactly to what the situation is at hand. And then I'm looking for an energy or an outcome energy. And it really helps us to refine all of the mental clutter that we may have around a situation and give us some focus. And again, like I said, clarity and motivational drive to see how we might be able to best move forward. So what I'm going to do today is consult of the ancient I Ching. What is the energy surrounding the collective and our listeners listening to us right now as it pertains to life and business? And what can we draw upon in moving forward in this upcoming week? So it doesn't matter when you receive this. Let's wipe away all timelines. Whenever you receive this, whatever is coming up in the upcoming week, is how you will, and what you hear of the I Ching is how you will know to move forward with clarity and ease and joy amongst all the distractions that are going on. So is that a good way to sum it up, Emily? Anything I should add? Okay.
I don't think so. That's
cool.
That's part of Lisa's wizardry.
So everyone's coming along with us into this Hogwarts. I'm right now shuffling the cards.
I just want to do like lightning fingers.
Yeah, that helps, I think. So what is the energy around the collective in this time, and what do we need to know moving forward? Thank you. So, and it's funny how cards just fly out. I'm just looking for 2 to jump out. So the first card to jump out is the Wanderer. Hexagram number 56 for those that are playing along at home. And I do have a lot of fellow feng shui listeners out there. It's the energy of fire above and mountain below. Really beautiful imagery. And I'll pop the card up here. I am using the I Ching from Paul O'Brien, if anyone wants to take a look. And he uses beautiful intuitive artwork. He's collaborated with an artist that's able to create these energies in that form. So Emily, anything come to mind intuitively of this energy?
Yep. It immediately reminded me of the campfire that we were talking about last week in Shahar and Michael's episode. So that controlled fire on top of a grounded foundation.
I see that. Yeah. And I didn't see that initially, but I see it's grounded, it's protected, and it has a controlled fire.
And just even before you showed the card, when you said fire above, mountain below, that's just what I thought of.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's not taking down all the trees in the area. It's burning safely on that rock. All right. So we're looking for what do we need to know moving forward, so we can access clarity and joy in our journey. And I do love Hexagram 56. It's the energy of the Wanderer for so many reasons. I like you and I, whenever we get this, we always talk about that Anthony Bourdain.
Yes. R.I.P. homie. Loved him.
Yeah, it's that, going somewhere else to an unknown. I'll delve into it a little bit more, but going to that unknown land to find that grandma and that family, and learning really with respect to the rich history and the culture and the practices. And eating, of course, right?
And the food. Let's not forget the food. But that encompasses so much of culture.
Okay, so the second energy of treading carefully is what we have to look forward to, and will give us some guide points and suggestions on how we can move forward. So that energy, again, sky above and lake below, is hexagram number 10. So anything come to mind in this imagery?
Not so much with the imagery, but I don't know how relevant this is. You'll understand why I'm laughing in a second. But whenever I hear like tread carefully, or the actual line is tread lightly, I am a huge fan of Breaking Bad. That's like my favorite show ever in history. And when there's a really poignant part, I guess, where Walter is basically admitting who he has become to Hank, his brother-in-law, without actually admitting it. But he says, if I am who you think I am, tread lightly. So I think of Breaking Bad, but that's probably not all that relevant to
it's important
what we have
that
to
you
look
bring
forward
that
to
up
in the future. I hope not. I really
it might have something to do with we might be able to find a way to segue in what you're describing. So there's a lot going on in the human interaction world. So we're looking at heaven or universe energy, then we're looking at the interaction within the environment, and then interpersonal reaction as well. And so there's a lot
I made a connection already
happening. Oh, you did already?
I had a light bulb.
Do you want to say it before I jump in?
Sure.
Okay.
So it has a little bit to do with like astrology, I guess, and Mars being in Gemini right now, Mars moving out of Gemini into Cancer. And I actually was watching something yesterday and kind of got some words that resonated. And the reader was talking about how Mars being in Gemini had helped us to just really speak and act in like just full unbridled truth, basically. And no people pleasing. And so basically anybody who tries to approach things in like a shady or a shifty manner,
Yeah.
we've been able to just openly and unapologetically like cut that out. So in a way, identifying those who might not have our best interests at heart or even the interest of the greater good, and treading lightly around those people,
Ooh, I
or
like
just
that.
removing them from our lives. So
I like that. I think that's
yeah.
actually very relevant. So that's a
If you
good
happen to
practice
know
that you brought
any
into this.
meth kingpins, then it's time to cut them out.
You don't know the culmination of experiences that the person or people that you're interacting with have created. So we're not aware of each other's forces in the interaction. And I think what's really cool about the wanderer energy, it does make you think about traveling to a new place, a new country, a place you've never been, but it can also be a new experience. It can be a new interaction. It could be a new layer or level of self that you're entering into. So the overall energy of that we're in right now, as you're listening, seasoned travelers know the special decorum that is called for when venturing far from home. They must develop a more yielding personality so that their local contact or host can open doors and pave the way. Inwardly, the wanderer knows that it is sometimes difficult to discern the intentions of strangers, just like you're talking about. So, so right on point in a different, unique way. And I think that's important to recognize that you had these things come to your intuition that you're bringing. Exactly what we're doing in Divining of the I Ching is releasing our ego and any attachments that we have to what's at hand. So any inferences that we take from this can be used in our interpersonal, personal lives and business. So it talks about when we're trying to discern the intentions of strangers, are they hostile or friendly or merely opportunistic? So as we were talking about, whether we are being welcomed by someone who has hostile intentions or friendly or opportunistic intentions, that shapes how we are also showing up if we're smart, right?
Yeah, because it's not always surface level, and often it's kind of opposite of surface level. Another reader I like always talks about, and he's talking about these concepts in names that we understand, but with the caveat that we as humans kind of put human characteristics on these bands of energy. They're not actually. So he's talking about devil energy and angel energy, right? Things that are associated with certain tarot cards, whatever, but we're not actually talking about like Satan and angels, right? Or Marvel comic book characters. We sort of put those characteristics on these energy bands. But he always talks about how often like people think that devil energy is going to be the outwardly like offensive energy, and the angel energy would be the nice and openly loving energy. But often it looks opposite on the surface, because actually angel energy is meant to trigger you. So angel energy, if we do put a human character on it, is more like the scruffy dude at the bar, drinking straight whiskey and smoking a cigarette and cussing. But he's going to sort of trigger you or point something out about you that needs to be addressed. or looked at. Whereas the devil energy, because it wants to bind you, right? It wants to attach to you. It actually doesn't want to ruffle the feathers on the surface.
Oh,
It wants to flatter you and, make you
manipulate.
dependent on it. So again, sometimes the hostile energy, if we are not discerning, can actually be what on the surface appears to be the nice and flattering energy, if that makes sense. So that's where the discernment comes in, and you have to actually kind of feel the situation and feel the energy of the person and determine whether their intentions are authentic or not.
Yeah, so I like that you bring up the obvious or like the fearful triggers that take you back to something that you can clearly go back to a reference of trauma, but then there's positive triggers too that are meant to grow you and stretch you and evolve you. And that's come up quite a few times.
Or they can feel negative, right? Like
Right.
triggers usually don't feel good, but
Right.
it's always indicating something that needs to be healed in yourself.
Well, okay, so I'm just going to draw another reference here on like a journey that I'm on, like the traveling wanderer journey. So in our workouts routine, yeah, sure, I know it's challenging on my journey to pick up heavy weights and put them back down.
And
but now
squats are very triggering to you.
It's very triggering to me, but I know it's positive and it's for growth and expansion in a positive way. And now I'm doing the nutrition, and so that's another positive trigger in a way too. Like, it's a positive influence, but like doing that work. Anyway, it's, so I'm going to delve a little bit further, and I think we'll tie this all together with a bow quite nicely, actually. So there's twin houses of mystery and discovery. Those are the houses that rule any journey that we take. Again, really important to have that positive curiosity to come with you, and that grace and openness, and that discernment that we just brought up. Each new day is launched on a fresh landscape, one that reaches out and grabs our attention. Travel's a great teacher and a great equalizer. Yeah.
Well, now the imagery of the fire above and the mountain below also makes even more sense, because to be a wanderer, to be a traveler, you have to have that forward moving masculine fire energy. But if you're just like pow, 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 just like impulsively doing, everything that strikes your fancy in that moment, then you're likely to end up in a tread lightly kind of situation, in a hostile situation. So it has to be a grounded forward movement.
So in a lot of energy work, and a lot of energy work, and in feng shui, we are looking for our energy to be meandering. And in that image of the wanderer, to get up to traverse that mountain, you have to take a lot of switchbacks. And in one direction, you may see the campfire, in another, you may not. But if you were to try to directly source to the fire, well, first of all, it's going to be harder. You're more likely to fall off a cliff, get stuck in something. It would be quite possibly
a fight with a mountain goat.
Yeah. I just saw something on Instagram where like someone was climbing up a mountain. I don't know if you sent it to me or someone else, and like a bear like jumped over the person climbing up the mountain. Did you see that?
Oh wait, was it the one where they had to push the black bear kind of like down the side in Japan or something? It's really aggressive black bear.
Yes.
That was pretty terrifying.
And he had to growl at the bear to get the bear to stay down.
He was making like crazy. I mean, that's what you would do, I guess.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you
that was terrifying.
That was really terrifying. But so anyway, so like the switchbacks that you take in being the wanderer, is an important part of the journey, and that meandering. In feng shui, we want to have a controlled flow and a meandering versus a rushing or anything too young or too direct or too masculine, as we were talking about in our discussion with Shahar and Michael. So that travel makes it a great equalizer, I think, is really cool too. There's an art to living to be able to survive on this path. And it requires this increased caution and discernment. And I think also a lot of welcomeness and flexibility, sincereness. I mean, you might not speak the same language as the people around you, so it requires, God forbid, eye contact with people so you can try to understand what they're saying. And that takes you out of your comfort zone a great deal. And it's not always the onset of a great journey is not, well, it's very rarely easy. It requires all heightened senses. You might be like, in this energy as you're listening to this right now, you might feel like oversensitized, like alert in all senses. And so you might, at this time, you might be entering into an actual journey or travel. You might be starting a new job. You might be dipping your toes into a new service. And it's going to feel all of these things. So being a wanderer, the positive, the easy side that we can all embrace, and that it offers you this like sense of freedom. And that's something we all desire. I heard someone say recently, might even been you, it's not really like monetary wealth that we desire. It's the freedom that monetary wealth creates. So this is a similar type of abundance that you feel in traveling, is you have this expansive freedom and not being bound or judged by your past. No one knows you. Cases around you. So it's almost like you have this freedom to paint your new life here. So if that's been in your, forefront of thinking right now, you have that joy and freedom to create the life, and without those boundaries or confines of anybody being able to say, well, that's not you. I know you as this. So pay close
But with
attention.
great freedom comes great responsibility. So tread lightly.
You're right. Without having those people who know you to say, but I know you as this, how can you be this? You don't also have the people to say, well, Emily has all this experience and I know her. You don't have the fortification of people to be able to qualify you in something necessarily. So there's that little bit of a parachute. And it just really, speaks to, again, like Anthony Bourdain, paying close attention to local customs and honoring them, or you might get shot by an actual army that's around you, like in his case. And
he went to some pretty unstable places.
Yeah. But, he relatively went through unscathed by honoring the traditions and the people, the actual people for who they are. So this is speaking to you in this energy right now where you exist. Really pay close attention to whom you're interacting and really see them for who they are. Like imagine you don't even speak the same language. So if you're crafting your marketing, really come from that conversation when you're crafting your marketing, as if you're that wanderer and the people that you're marketing to are receiving you into their household. And so it's more of that like respect and like getting a sense of their energy, and also making sure that they feel seen and heard and valued for who they are, and that you're coming with good intentions.
Yeah. So that's that authenticity, approaching everything with authenticity, because energy don't lie.
Right.
Yeah. And in the vein of service, how can you, yes, you will, get paid for services rendered, but how can you, not what am I getting out of this, this marketing, this sale, this interaction, but how can I best serve the potential client?
It might even be with the energy of I'm showing up with this household gift. So when you go to a place that you don't know, you might bring them a bottle of wine or a small gift to thank them for welcoming you into their home. You might be advertising with that, here's a bonus. Here's something to show my gratitude for allowing me to share this. So in whatever that might look like in whatever realm anyone is working in right now. This is a very auspicious energy to be in. And in fact, the future is looking really good too. Even though it says treading carefully, that doesn't mean,
right. Yeah. That doesn't mean Yeah.
there's no reason to be scared
Horrible thing.
in
Yeah.
this. Yeah. It's more from a place of just really being ultimately aware and using that awareness in a positive way. So channeling all that hypersensitivity as being in a new land into something, like you said, that comes from your authenticity and graciousness. It's a time of success, promotion, and reward is indicated here. So I'm excited for anyone who's in and accessing this energy and using it in that way. As we come down a little bit further, so there's 3 changing lines. That means that these changes will be shifting and received rather quickly. It just means maybe you're going through some sort of transformation or evolvement right now in whatever is in your mind. So holding that, however that may resonate. I feel this is more.
We are going into springtime, so transformations and rebirths and all that. 'Tis the season.
Yes. It says when a stranger is in a strange place, that being in that wanderer traveler energy, no one has trust. So keep that in mind. Like the situation could become bad if you're not cultivating of that trust energy. Don't come with like a meddling or controversy. This isn't the time to bring in politics or things that are going to show up.
I'm here to fuck shit up.
Yeah, like show up to a
bad move when you're the new kid in town.
Yeah. Sir, this is not a frat party. It's a tea party. Just in case you were wondering.
Okay.
So don't be careless with those who are willing to help you, or you're going to lose their support. So really look around to your helpful people and be mindful of the assistance that they're offering. And then before we close it out, excuse me. So the greatest assets of a traveler are modesty and a natural affection for people and mankind, even for those who are very different from you. So really, I think we talked about authenticity, but empathy of where people are meeting you from. A warm and open attitude should be cultivated whenever you find yourself in a new environment. You're going to benefit from that. And you're going to be more ambitious when you come from that energy as well. And you might even have a travel companion in this wanderer energy, as we're talking about conscious collaboration. So I think if that resonates with you, kind of, maybe meditate on that and think about who are your helpful people. Where are they with you on the journey, and really honoring and being receptive of that feedback, especially if you know and trust and like them in that. It's hard to find a good travel partner, I've found. So to that point in conscious collaboration.
Sorry, Kevin.
that was not like a similar, like a recent.
It's me and you next time.
It's hard to find a good travel partner that's going to be showing up in your energy, because if you have a good travel partner, you're going to feel like, and I can reference my last vacation, like we would go out to go on a tour or something and be in a good energy, and then we would get bonuses within that tour. Like, hey, I actually really like you guys. Y'all take you to these even more secret spots, not rob us. So it required a lot of trust. But,
right.
Sharing their families, really getting more on a personal level and exposing a lot more of the culture than had we been in different traveling energies that other people could pick up on. That's going to rattle trust. And the overall experience, it might suck. And they might want to get rid of you really fast. Like, here's what you paid for, bye. So choosing a good travel partner in your wandering journey, if that's in a conscious collaboration for business, is very, very valuable. Will open a lot more doors for you. So again, I think this is really positive. It talks about treading carefully means that competent people find their way and make progress, even in difficult circumstances. So since you're in this good energy of the wanderer, maybe you might want to like think of Anthony Bourdain in your mind as you're moving through or crafting your marketing or coming up with your sales page, whatever that may be, if it's business. And I think in interpersonal relationships, if what you're intending and what you're picking up on is more of a personal relationship journey, then you also want to think about how you're showing up in this new way and what that may mean. Are you being receptive of seeing someone in a new way, or and vice versa? So again, it goes back to that trust. Whatever is being revealed, it can be an interpersonal relationship journey to have this wanderer energy and treading carefully. So whichever resonates with you. But remember, it's important to stay relatively humble. And and a person is having influence. One person is having an influence over a stronger one. And for this reason, you want to be really particularly careful about what you're receiving and accepting. In the company of brash people, rushing wildly ahead will only bring misfortune. Now is not a good time for taking initiative. Rather, it's better for getting by with a little grace and good humor. So don't be afraid to inject good humor to raise the vibe, add some levity. If you're getting to the level of discovery calls, it's better to fail and take that step or express yourself in an authentic way than it is not to try to make any progress. If you do feel like you failed, use a little levity and humor to soften it. So it's totally possible. We all dip down sometimes, especially when we're trying something new. We all dip in towards that failure phase, or we felt like we fell on our face, or we stumbled, or we didn't say things in the words that we wanted. But use a little bit of humor is going to help resolve that for you very easily.
Well, if you're going to be excellent at something, you have to suck at it sometimes. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah. And then like you suck a little less, the next time. It doesn't mean that if you suck at something that you're not going to succeed overall in the umbrella.
Exactly. And you have to, you literally have to suck at it at times.
Yes.
In order to be good at it.
Exactly. Is it always 10 times, you think?
I didn't say 10 times.
Oh, okay.
Did I? I didn't say 10 times.
Oh, okay, because I was going to write that down.
At times. At times.
At times.
Maybe
okay.
10. Maybe that was a.
I don't like to suck at something 10 times, but so in this energy for the collective, anyone that's with us and listening to this I Ching reading right now, know that you're in a very positive energy. You're likely trying something new and stepping into some unknown territory. Pay close attention to whom's around you, your helpful people, those you're collaborating with, and those you're interacting with, and how are they presenting themselves. We were talking in our pre-talk today, Emily, and not everyone is for us. So if someone is rejecting and dismissive and perhaps, what would the word be, like, putting you down in some way, that doesn't open the door for you to try harder to convince them otherwise. Just let them go.
No people pleasing, no proving your value.
Right. Yeah. Just find another door to knock on, or open the door or the window elsewhere. So I would say, Emily, are you picking up on any tips or anything in terms of alignment that we could leave people with in advice from our I Ching reading today?
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of alignment and manifestation, this is the action part of it. If you want, you do, of course, you do need to take your time for rest and recovery and just allowing and receiving. But also, if you want things to change, you have to change your environment and you have to be a wanderer sometimes. So this is the nod to the action part of that.
Ooh, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like the wanderer energy, and I'm gonna look for these opportunities. I feel like this resonated with me in a lot of different ways, mostly business, some interpersonal, but I would say too, in the wanderer energy, and you always tell me this too, but in the wanderer energy, when you feel you're away from home, you might feel ungrounded or disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
How might we be able to correct that within our bodies so that we feel safe?
Certainly, literally grounding. Put
Mhm.
your bare feet on the ground. I think that's gonna be the literal best way to get
Mhm.
grounded. If you are literally traveling, um,
Mhm.
connecting with the earth in that place, in that new place, I think is good. But any of your grounding practices, root chakra focused meditations, strength training is very good for grounding. Any yoga poses that have all four limbs on the ground, or that just have you focusing on the sensation of being safe and secure in the earth below you. Um, I think red light therapy is very grounding, if not just for
Yes,
the red color and the root chakra associations alone. So
I like that
shout
a
out
lot.
to Atapa for that. Um, yeah, any of your sort of just normal grounding exercises and work would be good here.
You know what I was thinking too when you were talking about grounding and roots? I was thinking about those images of the trees that you sent me. Too, like,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
all the tree hugging. I do that in the park in front of the studio. I'll go
I
out
like
and
that a
and
lot.
because sometimes I don't have 10 minutes to stand out there barefoot, and I'm not going to take my walks barefoot, so I'll go to the park if I have a few minutes, take my shoes off, and then like hug the hug the tree,
I love
because
those
it gets you
trees.
like more bang for your buck. I don't know, that's how I feel.
I
If you
love
touch a
that so
tree,
much.
you're more grounded.
Perfect. And I think too, from like a feng shui perspective, I would say this is the time to really, well, first of all, get into your center, your holistic health and wellness, like you said, to reinforce getting rest and nourishment of all of mind, body, self, and spiritual, is look to the center of your home and evaluate whether there's clutter there. If there's good light that's reaching there, or are there any blockages? And then make a little bit of an intentional practice. Place something there of earth that's grounding. Maybe it's a crystal, maybe it's something that's square shaped, and spend some time really in meditation and think about the situation that we just talked about today and how you might go through that with a healthy wanderer spirit, a good traveling
Mm.
spirit, so that your opportunities will expand versus take your money and thank you, bye.
And that's in the actual center of your home with
Mhm.
all rooms included, right?
All rooms included is where we
Mhm.
start, but you can also take a look at the center of any room. So if you do have a
Mhm.
meditation area in your room or your gym or whatnot, take a look at that space and maybe you spend some time. I think it's funny, Emily, like when I was at the studio a few times and we did some moon ceremonies, we would go to the center of the room and do our
Mm.
practices and our intention setting there. And that's something that someone might be open to doing.
Well, my another one of my clients who's done some visualization and meditation work with me for me says that there's uh, a big tree of life in the center of the studio, a
Yeah.
juicy golden peach tree of life.
Yes. Perfect. I love that so much.
Yeah.
I think this has been fun. I think we should continue this inside of the Conscious Collaboration Collective on Facebook. And I want to hear what everyone's experiences may be or what came to mind as they heard the I Ching reading, and if they have any insights on how they might be moving forward.
Yeah.
So hit us up. Again, we look for your messages on Instagram and Inside of the Collective on Facebook. And Emily, this has been fun.
It's been real as always.
All right. We'll see you next time.
All right, guys. Talk to y'all in 5.
Talk to you in 5.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank y'all so much for listening to our podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends so they can join our circle of collaboration on this journey. You can find us on Instagram at Conscious Collaboration Podcast, on Spotify, iTunes, and Audible, to name a few. Please join us next time for another deep dive into how you can live life in more alignment, mind, body, and business. Send us your questions and comments in our DMs or email us at consciouscollaborationpodcast@gmail.com. See you in 5 minutes.